Alex Constatino from Rush's Kitchen Supply joins us again.
And today we're talking about those fall gourds that are in your garden.
And Libby, you say these gourds scare you?
Scared to cook with them because I'm afraid I'm going to cut myself. They're so hard. Like the gourds are so hard. No, really. Have you tried to cut one?
They're tough.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you get in there?
You throw it up in the air and then you slice it in the air, right?
Like Indiana Jones style. Very nice.
Well, you're talking to an equipment guy.
Thank
and I've
you.
got
What
the right
equipment?
thing to do. We're going to use a nice, just a serrated bread knife. Works really well for these. So what I've got here is I've got this is a spaghetti squash, acorn squash, and a butternut squash, better known as the winter squashes.
Yes.
The zucchini yellow squash variety or summer style.
Okay.
These are high in vitamins, great source of beta-carotene, I think better known as vitamin A.
Yeah.
And my doctor says I need more of that, not in the pill form.
Your doctor's not the only one.
But I think most people are intimidated by these because they are tough to cut.
They're
tough to deal with.
You don't really know
how do I cook them? So we'll solve that problem here today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut them in half. We can do that with a nice sharp bread knife that's serrated. I like to cut the stem part off, and I got to saw a little bit, or I could get out, you know, Dad's machete, but you know, this seems to work. Also, if you take a towel,
more controlled than trying to hack into it too.
It's not.
I've seen people take a cleaver and get it, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, you know, someone's going to get hurt.
You're going to lose a digit.
This is a lot more manageable.
Okay.
Although it still is difficult. You can see that I'm really muscling through it. If I use a towel, I can use the towel to cradle it. But cut it right in half, take a spoon, spoon that out. Next process is we take a cookie sheet and we'll put a little bit of oil on the cookie sheet and then a little bit of oil on the squash and set it face side down. That way that it will start to cook, it will roast. You'll build wonderful flavor with the caramelization. That's what we've done here. And then the other trick to the squash is the doctoring. You've got to doctor it. You know, my wife introduced me to the doctoring of squash because I had no idea, and she related it to potatoes. We doctor our potatoes with sour cream, chives, bacon bits, cheese, you name it. With squash, we want to offset a little bit of the bitterness with a little bit of sweet. So I love to use a little bit of brown sugar.
So just sprinkle
I just will take my brown sugar after it's cooked, and I'll put some on there, a little bit of butter, some salt, pepper.
So you actually do it after it's cooked?
After it's cooked.
Okay, now why after, not before? Because I would think the before would help with the caramelization.
The brown sugar will brown and possibly burn. We're going to roast these at a 400 to 425 degree oven, and that brown sugar will just caramelize and then burn and not turn out good. So wait until you're done, and that's what you do when you set it at the table. And it's kind of fun for the kids because they can put some sugar, a little bit of cinnamon. That's always good. Nutmeg, a little bit of fresh nutmeg. Another thing you can do with squash is you can dice it, then saute it. That builds a lot of flavor here. And then you puree it and put it with some chicken stock and create a soup. And that's what we've got here. A fresh butternut soup.
Sounds delicious. So is it just the squash, or what else do you have in there?
In there is chicken stock is my base. I've got cream. I've got the butternut squash. And then some spices, a little bit of parsley, lemon, and I love a little bit of fresh nutmeg. You put a little bit of fresh nutmeg on top. I put a pretty little basil leaf.
Zest on there.
Yes. And you know, there's nothing better than fresh nutmeg. That is by far the best. You know?
And that's easy to do.
This butternut is a part of the, it's got the orange flesh, and it really, really is high in vitamin A. If you want to pick one squash to play with, this is the one.
That'd be the guy.
The spaghetti squash, which is the one that I cut open, is called spaghetti squash because the flesh itself, as you break it up,
long, stringy
and you know,
I've heard of a lot of people using that when, let's say, you're trying not to have so many carbs. Put some spaghetti sauce on top of that, and
bingo. Take this, string it all out, put it into a bowl, put a little marinara sauce. The kids will think they're having spaghetti.
That is
just
a nice little trickination.
That's right.
Personally, I really like the butternut squash soup.
Well, anything with cream in it is good in my book. So,
it is delightful, you know. And then you've got that little bit of nutmeg on top. Ooh, doesn't that look good?
It looks beautiful.
That looks awesome, and I'm sure it tastes
absolutely perfection.
That's right. We need to get in squash for fall. Don't overlook it.
Because like you said, a lot of people's gardens are going to have these guys.
That's right.
Now there's something more to do than just setting on your table.
It's more than just this gourd table decoration. You know?
Centerpiece. All right.
And it's true. That's the only reason I buy them.
For decorations. Now you can decorate and then eat them.
That's right.
So these will keep for a little while, won't they?
They will. They will. It's got, you know, you can cellar it basically and keep it for a long time. And that's, I think, why they call them winter squash, is because then this is something that you can have in the winter.
All right. Well, we're going to put these recipes up on our website at kpvi.com. Just go under the KPVI More section. We'll also have the video of this on there, too, so you know what to do with your gourds.
Very good.
All right, Alex, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be right back.